Imagine holding a crescent moon in the palm of your hand, a sliver of silver, delicate, incomplete, yet full of quiet power. It is not the full moon that dazzles and commands attention. It is the crescent, the shape of potential, the symbol of what is growing, what is becoming. Now imagine that this moon represents your life, your year, your possibilities. 2025 is coming, and it will not grant miracles, nor will it offer shortcuts. It is not a gift. It is a mirror, reflecting the choices, habits, and preparation you have carried into it. What happens this year depends not on luck, but on the readiness of the hand that holds it. First, you will be confronted by yourself. The small compromises, the ignored disciplines, the hidden fears. They will surface. 25 has no patience for excuses. It will show what has been nurtured and what has been neglected. Second, motivation alone will not carry you. Discipline will become non-negotiable. Success is built in the repetition, the quiet attention to the details that others dismiss. Third, you will experience loss of comfort, of certainty, of illusion. These losses are not punishments, but invitations, creating space for growth and clarity. Fourth, your body will demand respect. Ignoring it will amplify every challenge, while caring for it will give you strength you cannot yet imagine. Fifth, relationships will shift. Some will strengthen, some will fade, and the truth of who belongs in your journey will become evident. Sixth, fear will visit often. It is not there to stop you, but to measure the depth of your commitment. Courage is not the absence of fear, it is action in its presence. Seventh, waiting will become costly. Time does not charge in money, it charges in the currency of potential lost. The longer you delay, the heavier the weight of what could have been. Eighth, pressure will come unexpectedly, and it will reveal who you truly are. Preparation, consistency, and integrity will determine whether you bend or break. Ninth, a quiet confidence will emerge if you choose persistence over intensity, patience over shortcuts. It will not be flashy, but it will be unshakable. 10th, you will understand that nothing is missing. Life does not withhold, it responds. What is given aligns with who you have become, not who you wish to be. The crescent moon is fragile, yet powerful. It will test whether your hand is steady, whether your mind is clear, whether your spirit is prepared. You cannot demand more than you are ready to hold. The year does not promise ease, but it promises truth. It will reward the person who is ready to meet its challenges, who has built the strength, resilience, and awareness necessary to carry not only opportunity, but responsibility. So when 2025 arrives, do not ask what it will give you. Ask whether you have become the person capable of holding the light of your own potential. The crescent moon is in your hand if you have prepared for it, if you have trained, if you have grown in the unseen moments. It waits silently, testing the steadiness of your grip, the clarity of your vision, and the courage of your heart. This year is not a miracle to wish for, but a mirror reflecting the power, readiness, and responsibility you have cultivated. It will demand everything you are willing to give, and it will return nothing less than what you are capable of holding. The crescent moon has been a symbol of fascination for humans for thousands of years, quietly hanging in the sky, a sliver of silver against the darkness. It is not the full moon, not complete in its glory, but it is alive with promise, poised between nothingness and wholeness. It is the moon at its most delicate, yet its most significant, because it embodies potential, transition, and quiet power. The crescent is a reminder that life is never static. It is always moving, always shifting, always becoming. To see the crescent moon is to witness the process of growth, the early stages of realization, the initial spark before it swells into brilliance. It is a celestial lesson that what is small and incomplete can still hold enormous influence, and that beginnings, even fragile ones, carry the weight of destiny in their subtlety. Unlike the full moon, which commands attention with its completeness and radiance, the crescent is humble, almost invisible to those who do not pause to notice. Its significance is not in dominating the night sky, but in quietly asserting its presence, a gentle reminder that even the smallest signs of change carry the potential to shape the future. It teaches patience, showing that growth cannot be rushed, that light emerges slowly, gradually, as cycles turn. The crescent moon's beauty lies in its restraint, its ability to exist without needing to be everything at once, a lesson for anyone who struggles with impatience or the pressure to achieve immediate results. It is in the waiting, the preparation, the quiet accumulation of energy and intent that power is formed. The shape of the crescent itself carries meaning, a delicate curve that suggests both protection and receptivity. It cradles darkness, holding it gently as it transforms into light. In this way, the crescent moon mirrors the human experience, the tension between what is and what can be, the interplay of limitation and possibility, the balance between holding and releasing. Its curve is a natural form, a reflection of cycles and patterns in nature, a visual reminder that life moves in rhythms, that beginnings and endings are interconnected. Those who observe the crescent closely learn to see beyond surface appearances, to recognize that even small, incomplete moments contain the seeds of greatness. Culturally, the crescent moon has carried a multitude of meanings. It has symbolized growth and regeneration, new beginnings, intuition, and transformation. In many traditions, it is a sign of potential and fertility, a marker of the unseen power that precedes action. Unlike the sun, which asserts itself with force and energy, the crescent moon exerts influence quietly, subtly, an invisible hand shaping tides, guiding nocturnal creatures, and influencing the cycles of life on Earth. It is a symbol of hope for those who are in the midst of transition, a reminder that no stage of incompletion is without value, that even in a phase of seeming weakness, there is strength and purpose. The crescent moon also embodies duality. It exists between light and dark, between emptiness and fullness. It is both a promise and a warning, an invitation and a challenge. It teaches that potential is not passive, it demands attention, cultivation, and courage. The crescent cannot become a full moon without effort, without patience, without enduring the shadows that lie between. In this way, it becomes a mirror for human life, reflecting the truth that all growth is a process of tension, a balance between what is known and what is unknown, between comfort and challenge. Observing the crescent moon encourages reflection, mindfulness, and awareness of the subtle forces at work in one's own life, urging a deeper understanding of cycles, timing, and personal evolution. The crescent moon, delicate as it seems, is not fragile in influence. Its impact is felt across oceans and time, guiding calendars, inspiring art, and shaping rituals. It is a silent teacher, a quiet force that calls for patience, observation, and respect for the process of becoming. Its light, though modest, illuminates the darkness with purpose and precision, showing that even the smallest spark can have far-reaching effects. To hold the crescent moon in one's mind, or metaphorically in one's hand, is to recognize the power inherent in potential, to honor beginnings, and to embrace the delicate balance between waiting and action, between presence and growth, between what is and what is yet to be. Your hand is often looked at as a map of destiny, lines etched into the skin that are said to foretell the future, to reveal what is waiting for you, or what is inevitable. People look at their palms searching for certainty, as if knowing the lines could make life predictable, as if holding a map would make the journey effortless. Yet the truth is far simpler and far heavier. Your hand is not fate. It does not hold predestination. It does not carry the guarantee of tomorrow. What your hand holds is responsibility. Every curve of the fingers, every line across the palm, is a reminder not of what will happen to you, but of what you are able to do, what you must do, and what you can choose to shape. Responsibility is the weight that transforms potential into reality, the force that converts dreams into tangible outcomes. To understand this is to recognize the power inherent in your own actions and the necessity of cultivating awareness, discipline, and intentionality in every moment. The hand is the tool of effort, of creation, and of execution. It is through your hands that you interact with the world, that you give shape to your ideas, that you build, that you write, that you reach for what is needed. In many ways, your hands are mirrors of your choices, reflections of your attention and commitment. What you hold, what you release, what you create, and what you destroy all passes through your hands. To think of the hand as fate is to abdicate control, to surrender to the illusion that life is something done to you, rather than something you actively participate in. Responsibility, however, is different. Responsibility is heavy, demanding, and unforgiving, but it is also empowering. It reminds you that your circumstances may challenge you, but they do not define you. What defines you is how you respond, how you act, and how consistently you choose to carry the weight of your own decisions. Every decision made, every action taken, every moment of inattention or negligence is recorded in the quiet ledger of responsibility. The hand is a teacher of this truth. It teaches that even the smallest gesture can have consequences, that the energy you put into something determines its outcome more than luck or chance. To hold responsibility is to acknowledge the connection between intention and result, between preparation and opportunity, between effort and outcome. The hand, then, is not passive. It does not carry fate, but it carries accountability. To close a hand on laziness, fear, or distraction is to weaken your own potential. To open it with care, focus, and discipline is to create possibility. Responsibility is not a burden placed from the outside. It is something that is always within your grasp. It is neither punishment nor reward, but a mirror reflecting your capacity for action. In every moment, your hand asks you a silent question. What will you do? Will you shape your life with purpose, or will you allow external forces to shape it for you? The answer is never given, never automatic, and never permanent. It is tested daily in the consistency of habits, the choices of character, and the steadiness of attention. Responsibility is revealed not in grand gestures, but in repeated, disciplined actions that accumulate over time, quietly altering the trajectory of life. Understanding that your hand is responsibility, not fate, also reframes the concept of power. True power is not inherited or predicted, it is exercised. It is the ability to respond rather than react, to act with intention rather than be swept along by circumstance. Power exists in the recognition that what you do matters more than what is foretold, that what you create matters more than what is promised, and that your attention and effort are the instruments through which reality is shaped. To carry responsibility is to acknowledge that there is no escape from the consequences of action, no avoidance of the labor required to turn intention into outcome, and no substitute for steady, mindful engagement with life itself. Responsibility demands presence. It requires awareness of the present moment, the tasks at hand, the relationships you influence, and the environment you navigate. To ignore it is to invite disorder, frustration, and regret. To embrace it is to align your potential with your actions. To ensure that your hand is not a passive map of fate, but a dynamic tool of creation, shaping the life you are capable of leading. It asks for patience, for endurance, and for courage, because responsibility is often unseen, unrewarded, and heavy, yet it is the only path to true mastery of oneself and of one's circumstances. The year 2025 will arrive as it always does, silently, without announcement, carrying with it no guarantees, no magic, and no miraculous solutions to the challenges you have carried from the past. It is a mirror, not a miracle, reflecting back to you the truth of what you have built, what you have ignored, and what you have allowed yourself to become. A mirror does not lie, it does not sugarcoat, and it does not negotiate. It shows what is, and only what is. If you look into it and see clarity, that clarity is the result of the effort, awareness, and preparation you have cultivated over time. If you see distortion, chaos, or absence, it is a reflection of inattention, neglect, or avoidance. 2025 will not grant favors for wishful thinking, nor will it rescue those unprepared for its arrival. It will simply reveal, in unforgiving detail, the alignment between who you are and what you can achieve. In this sense, the year is not a miracle because miracles require external forces, an intervention outside of cause and effect. 2025 as a mirror is not external in its judgment, it is entirely internal. It will respond to the patterns, habits, and decisions that have accumulated within you. What is projected outward is shaped entirely by what is nurtured inwardly. Every distraction ignored, every discipline avoided, every effort half-heartedly applied becomes visible in the reflection. Conversely, every habit formed, every challenge met, every moment of attention given with clarity strengthens the reflection you will encounter. It is a relentless but impartial teacher, showing that the future is not granted, it is earned. To approach 2025 as a mirror rather than a miracle is to take full responsibility for your state of being. There is no space for blaming circumstance, luck, or the actions of others for what the year will present. What appears before you will not be new, it will be amplified. Opportunities and challenges alike are amplified images of what has already been cultivated in your mind, body, and character. Just as a mirror enlarges what is placed before it, the year will enlarge the strengths and weaknesses you have allowed to grow. The small neglects, the tiny victories, the unnoticed choices, they all accumulate, and in 2025, their consequences will appear more clearly than ever. A mirror also demands honesty. It does not lie to make you comfortable. The reflection is not softened for convenience or fear. It is direct and uncompromising. To look into it is to see yourself without excuses, without masks, and without illusions. The habits you have ignored, the potential you have deferred, the responsibilities you have shirked, all will appear with a quiet insistence that cannot be ignored. Yet within this clarity lies power. The mirror is not punitive, it is revealing. It shows where correction is possible, where alignment can be restored, and where action is overdue. It gives the opportunity to see the consequences of the past, so that you can choose differently in the present, shaping not fate, but a deliberate path forward. Mirrors also teach timing. They reflect not only what is, but what has led to what is. Every action has preceded its outcome, every choice its consequence, and the year 2025 will make visible the continuity between cause and effect. There is no surprise in this reflection, only recognition of the invisible work that has already occurred. Understanding this allows for foresight, for adaptation, and for strategic effort. You learn to anticipate the reflection before it becomes fully visible, aligning your actions with the outcomes you wish to see. To treat the year as a miracle is to abdicate agency, to hope for change without effort, to wait for luck rather than create conditions for success. To treat it as a mirror is to embrace responsibility, awareness, and action. It is to recognize that the challenges you encounter will reflect what you need to address within yourself, and the successes you experience will reflect what you have prepared, nurtured, and cultivated over time. In this way, the year becomes less a question of chance and more a measure of clarity, consistency, and alignment. The reflection it presents is impartial, unyielding, and infinitely instructive, urging those willing to see it clearly to respond, adapt, and grow. Strength comes before success, not as a slogan or a promise, but as an undeniable principle of reality. Many pursue success as if it were a destination or a gift that can be claimed without preparation, imagining that results will follow desire or hope. Yet success is rarely granted to those who chase it blindly. It is earned through strength, cultivated in the quiet hours before the world notices, forged in the consistency of effort long before recognition arrives. Strength is not merely physical, it is mental, emotional, and moral. It is the capacity to endure difficulty, to resist distraction, to maintain focus when the path is unclear, and to continue acting when the immediate reward is absent. Without this foundation, success becomes fleeting, shallow, or entirely elusive, because the pressures, demands, and challenges of achievement expose the weaknesses that were never addressed. The development of strength requires discipline, patience, and an understanding that growth is incremental rather than instantaneous. Physical strength is an obvious example. A muscle cannot expand overnight. It responds to repeated effort, tension, and stress, adapting slowly to become capable of tasks that once seemed impossible. In the same way, mental strength is forged through consistent practice of focus, learning, problem solving, and resilience. Emotional strength emerges through confronting discomfort, facing rejection, managing impulses, and maintaining composure under pressure. Moral strength, often the most overlooked, develops by making difficult decisions, holding oneself accountable, and acting with integrity even when no one is watching. Each form of strength builds upon the others, creating a stable platform upon which success can be constructed. Success without strength is fragile. Achievements gained without preparation can be undone by pressure, criticism, or unforeseen obstacles. A victory built on haste, luck, or superficial talent may shine briefly, but it rarely endures because it lacks the internal structure to support it. Strength provides the resilience necessary to withstand the inevitable setbacks that accompany any meaningful pursuit. Those who have invested in strength understand that failure is not a stopping point, but a lesson. It is the feedback that guides refinement, adjustment, and growth. They are able to endure, adapt, and persist where those who lack strength falter, allowing them to reach heights that were unreachable through desire alone. Strength also preceded success because it shapes character, and character determines the quality of achievement. A person of weak character may obtain resources, recognition, or opportunity, but they are often incapable of sustaining or multiplying them. Strength teaches patience, humility, and persistence, instilling habits that produce consistent results. It aligns intention with action, ensuring that effort is deliberate rather than haphazard, and that challenges are met with preparation rather than panic. Success, in this framework, is the natural consequence of repeated, disciplined action powered by internal strength, rather than chance or entitlement. Moreover, strength allows for control over timing and circumstance. Those who are strong are prepared for opportunity when it arrives, able to act decisively and effectively. Without strength, opportunities may appear, but the unprepared cannot seize them. Strength is the unseen labor that precedes visible results. It is the training in the shadows, the steady cultivation of skill, the refinement of focus, and the management of energy and emotion. It is often invisible to others but essential to any lasting achievement. The individual who has cultivated strength is capable of navigating complexity, enduring uncertainty, and maintaining clarity, qualities that success inevitably demands. In every field, in every pursuit, history demonstrates that those who achieved lasting results did so because they built strength first, sometimes years in advance. Athletes, artists, leaders, and innovators all invested in the invisible work before claiming recognition. They understood that preparation creates readiness, resilience ensures persistence, and inner power enables consistent action. Strength is the seed from which success grows, the foundation that supports achievement, and the armor that protects it from collapse under the weight of challenge. It is the principle that guarantees that when opportunity and circumstance align, the person ready to act will prevail where the unprepared stumble, demonstrating that success is never an accident, but the natural consequence of deliberate, cultivated strength. Pain is a teacher and comfort is a trap, though the lesson is often hidden behind instinct and desire. Human nature seeks ease, avoidance, and familiarity, turning away from discomfort whenever possible. We are trained from an early age to avoid suffering, to pursue pleasure, and to seek security, yet it is precisely the avoidance of difficulty that limits growth, stunts potential, and dulls the ability to endure what life inevitably brings. Pain, whether physical, emotional, or mental, is not an enemy to be evaded. It is a signal, a guide, and a tool for development. It exposes weaknesses, challenges assumptions, and forces adaptation. Comfort, in contrast, lulls the mind and body into stagnation, creating a false sense of safety that leaves one unprepared for the challenges of reality. Those who prioritize comfort over confrontation often discover that when difficulty arrives, they are ill-equipped to respond, their resilience undeveloped, their potential unrealized. Pain instructs through confrontation. Physical pain warns of injury, signaling where boundaries must be respected or strength increased. Mental pain, such as frustration, confusion, or failure, illuminates gaps in understanding, revealing areas that require focus, practice, and refinement. Emotional pain, including grief, rejection, or loss, forces reflection and empathy, sharpening awareness of oneself and others. In each case, discomfort is the unmasking of truth. It strips away illusions, excuses, and pretenses, presenting reality in its raw form. While the instinct may be to retreat from pain, to seek distraction or escape, the individual who remains present in discomfort gains clarity, learning not only the limits of current capability, but also the methods by which those limits can be expanded. Pain, in its persistent and unyielding way, demands engagement, demanding that one rise to meet it with intention, rather than avoidance. Comfort, by contrast, dulls perception and erodes potential. When the body, mind, or spirit is constantly cushioned from challenge, it loses the capacity to respond effectively when difficulty inevitably comes. Comfort reinforces habits of passivity, creating dependency on external ease rather than cultivating internal strength. It encourages repetition of the known, avoidance of risk, and adherence to routine, which, while soothing, stagnates growth. The very desire for comfort can blind one to opportunity, delaying engagement with meaningful challenges, and masking the underlying work required to reach higher levels of capability. Comfort masquerades as safety, yet in truth, it It is a slow, acting poison to progress, making sudden pain more intense when it inevitably arrives, because the foundation for endurance has never been built. The lessons of pain are cumulative, experienced over time, and require reflection and application. Pain teaches patience, discipline, and perseverance. It exposes the consequences of neglect and the value of effort. It develops resilience, the ability to endure hardship without breaking, and courage, the capacity to confront uncertainty with steadiness of mind. Each encounter with difficulty is an opportunity to cultivate awareness of limits, to refine technique, and to expand capacity. Those who embrace pain as a teacher do not seek suffering for its own sake, but they recognize it as an unavoidable and essential part of any journey toward mastery. In life, the balance between discomfort and ease is delicate. Too much pain without understanding leads to despair, and too much comfort without challenge leads to decay. The individual who learns from pain, but refuses the seduction of comfort, develops the habits, strength, and insight necessary to navigate uncertainty, hardship, and complexity. They are able to act decisively when opportunity presents itself, and to endure when adversity strikes. Pain is a crucible, forging the character, skill, and awareness required to excel in any pursuit. Comfort, when prioritized above challenge, is a trap that obscures growth, dulls perception, and leaves one vulnerable to the inevitable trials of existence. Understanding this distinction shifts perspective on life itself. Moments of struggle become not curses but lessons, invitations to rise, to adapt, and to strengthen. The avoidance of discomfort, once seen clearly, is revealed as self-deception, a subtle barrier to progress. Pain, therefore, becomes a guidepost, and comfort a subtle adversary, teaching that the path of growth is never smooth, and the work of life is always found in the tension between endurance and ease, challenge and surrender, action and avoidance. You must become the person who can hold what you want, because desire alone is too weak to sustain what achievement demands. Many people want more than they can carry, more than they can manage, more than they are prepared to protect. They ask for opportunity, success, responsibility, recognition, or freedom, without considering the internal structure required to support it. Wanting is easy, holding is difficult. Holding requires capacity, stability, discipline, and maturity. Life does not deny people what they want out of cruelty, but out of precision. It only delivers what a person is ready to carry without collapsing under the weight of it. What you want will change your life, and change is pressure. More responsibility means more decisions, more consequences, more exposure to failure and criticism. More success means less privacy, higher expectations, and constant performance. More freedom requires more self-control, not less. Without the internal strength to manage these pressures, what once looked like a gift quickly becomes a burden. This is why people sometimes sabotage their own progress, retreat after breakthroughs, or lose what they worked so hard to gain. They reached for something their identity, habits, and mindset could not yet sustain. The problem was never the desire, it was the mismatch between the person and the outcome. Becoming the person who can hold what you want is a process of internal expansion. It requires developing patience where impatience once ruled, discipline where inconsistency lived, and responsibility where blame was convenient. Capacity is built through repetition, through small acts done consistently, through learning to manage discomfort without escaping it. Just as a container must be reinforced before it can hold greater volume, a person must strengthen their character before they can hold greater outcomes. This strengthening is often invisible, unnoticed by others, and unrewarded in the short term, yet it is the most critical work there is. Holding something valuable also requires restraint. Not everything gained must be displayed, defended, or explained. Maturity is knowing when to act and when to remain still, when to speak and when to remain silent. Emotional control becomes essential because unchecked emotion spills, damages, and destabilizes. Those who cannot regulate their reactions often lose what they gain, not because of external opposition, but because of internal chaos. To hold what you want means you can carry pressure without becoming reckless, absorb criticism without becoming defensive, and navigate uncertainty without becoming impulsive. Identity plays a central role in this transformation. If you see yourself as someone unworthy, unprepared, or fragile, you will unconsciously reject outcomes that contradict that identity. Becoming capable means updating the internal narrative, aligning self-image with responsibility, effort, and growth. This is not arrogance, but accuracy. You become someone who expects effort, accepts difficulty, and understands that maintenance is as important as achievement. What you hold must be protected, refined, and sustained, not merely obtained. The process is demanding because it requires honesty. You must confront where you are weak, inconsistent, or avoidant. You must acknowledge patterns that once protected you but now limit you. Growth requires letting go of familiar versions of yourself, even when they feel safe. This discomfort is necessary because what you want exists at a level that requires a stronger version of you. Each step toward becoming that person increases your capacity, making previously overwhelming responsibilities manageable. Life is efficient and impartial. It does not reward potential without proof, nor does it punish desire. It simply responds to readiness. When you become the person who can hold what you want, you no longer need to chase it desperately. It arrives naturally because your habits, decisions, and presence signal that you are capable of sustaining it. You stop asking why things are withheld and start recognizing that preparation is already in progress. That becoming precedes receiving, and that the true work is not in acquiring more, but in expanding yourself enough to carry it without losing balance, clarity, or direction.